Mm.
But here's the thing: it's you know, there are sort of evolutionary pressures in any given context. So it's a landscape of pressures going on. So from the Indigenous point of view, it's always that big context that you're responding to, and you're mutating, within that context,
Mm.
always. So you kind of watch that and you see the signs, and you try to see, well, where are those little pathologies going? Where are those mutations going? Where are they taking us? And what's the appropriate response to that?
Mm.
And usually the appropriate response is wait for a bit and watch, observe, be very aware, and and respond accordingly.
Is there a way in which we could approach this subject where we look at it more process oriented, in terms of how we understand what's happening in this pandemic? Because the thing is that it's brought up so many things up to the surface. It's not just about a virus anymore. It's really showed a lot of things to us. Imagine you've seen it the same way.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's sort of, I don't know, it's going forward thinking about, well, how is the world going to work? I mean, it's not going to be able to be the same thing. That if you looked at just the airlines and just the impact on the airlines, like that would be enough to change everything. But it's changed absolutely everything. What this next generation is going to be like.
Mm.
My little 2-year-old son who's never met another kid,
Mm.
and
Wow.
just has no idea how you would interact with another person who's not one of the people in this house.
Mm.
And he's struggling with that. Even so I mean, what are the pathologies that will be coming up for those people, for
Mm.
that generation? So he still can't say hello, or he still can't say yes or no or anything like that, but he can count to 10.
Mm.
He
What
can
did that
count to
say to
10
you?
and do one-to-one correspondence on his fingers and show you the numbers,
Right.
say them.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't say yes or no. He doesn't understand that. It's it's just I think this is going to be an interesting bunch of people.
Mm.
But here's the thing: it's you know there are sort of evolutionary pressures in any given context. So it's a landscape of pressures going on. So from the Indigenous point of view, it's always that big context that you're responding to, and you're mutating, within that context, always. So you kind of watch that and you see the signs, and you try to see, well, where are those little pathologies going? Where are those mutations going? Where are they taking us? And what's the appropriate response to that?
Mm.
And usually the appropriate response is wait for a bit and watch, observe, be very aware, and and respond accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm usually a self-organizing system. Will create its own kind of immune response. Will adapt through phase shifts, towards some kind of homeostasis that you can't even imagine. All these mutations don't happen as singular things with one species or one process or whatever. A virus is a process. It's not exactly like a little being. It's not an organism. It's a process. It's like
Yeah.
an algorithm or something. And these processes, they're never singular. They're always attached out to everything else. And if you're seeing one species mutate, then you're seeing basically that'll be collective, you know, pressures right across the system. There's evolutionary pressures happening, where right across the entire system, stuff that you can't even imagine, is going on.
Mm.
Things you might think are emergent, but they're actually you're only just starting to see them.
Mm.
And you might not see them at all. You don't want to tinker too much in there. If you do big, powerful interventions, into a system like that, you tend to disrupt that process.